Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Case for Construction Culture podcast. I'm Tom Esch, and I'm here joined by Dave Ruddy, who is the Field Safety Manager for Pinkard Construction out of Lakewood, Colorado. West of Denver, did you say, Dave?
West of Denver.
West of
Yep.
Denver. I've known Dave since 2012. It's an honor to have you on the program, Dave. We're talking about balancing safety and profitability. We're talking about culture, and you are a super seasoned safety guy. And you also have one of the most generous hearts, man of faith, man of deep family value. You've been a good friend, a good support. I honestly thank you for being here. I thank you for your support over many years when I was coming to Denver often. And so it's a pleasure to have you, Dave.
Well, of course, Tom, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be associated with a man of your caliber and your character. It's been a great run of our relationship since 2012. And we've seen many things come and go, and we've seen a lot of good opportunities to help people along the way with regards to working safe out on the job sites because you're as much a part of this as I am. You know, I'm a family first, safety always kind of guy. I've never been a safety first man because safety first implies that safety's first. And we all know that production is king. Production will always lead the way, lead the drive. Without production, nobody's doing anything as far as, family life and having some dollars to play with. So we
Amen.
can call it family first, safety always, and production is right there in the middle.
You're starting to sound like Mike Rowe. Have you seen Mike Rowe's safety third thing? Safety.
Micro is a safety third guy, but I'm not a fan of safety third. Fan of family first, safety
I,
always.
I think it's just a gimmick to get people
It
thinking
is.
about it. And we have to use tricks, don't we, Dave? You've been at it so long. I'm curious, how have you maintained your passion for safety all these decades?
Well, I grew up in the Midwest in a little town called Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
That's right. Yeah.
Lots of farms, lots of factories. My father was a worker in the Neenah Foundry of all places.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
remember stories
Big.
of dad coming home talking about things that have happened and how people have forced things to happen where it wasn't always correct and people got hurt. So kind of grew up that way in that world, and certainly farm accidents, people getting maimed or
Mm-hmm.
seriously injured, and their way of life was
Mm-hmm.
altered quite a bit.
Mm.
I joined the Coast Guard, the best and awesomest United States Coast Guard. It's pretty cool, and
Mm-hmm.
had a great 20-year run while I was in the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard led me to some really neat places, but one of them was they steered me towards getting involved in safety with contractors that did oil spill cleanup and chemical spill cleanup
Mm.
starting
Mm.
in 1984. So
Mm.
I've been working in safety since 1984. Seen a
Wow.
lot of really, really horrible things, and certainly got the opportunity to address some things that could make us a lot better in the world of safety. And so
Yeah.
my passion is just there. My brother fell off a roof and got seriously injured.
Mm.
Um, it's just I just feel really blessed and honored to have been able to go down
Mm.
this path. I keep it going. My wife is a nurse, so I tell her I'm trying to keep people out of your care. She giggles and laughs and says, "Well, sometimes you don't do so well, honey. We got a lot of people in the hospital that get injured."
Yeah, my wife's a massage therapist, so we have a lot in common there, Dave. Wow, you've been at it so long. What are some of the challenges that you see? We talked about how safety and construction has changed earlier. What are some of your challenges you see either with the company you're working with Pinkard, or in the industry in general?
Well, that's more than just a 30-minute podcast, Tom.
Well,
Over the
just hit a couple highlights if you can, Dave.
right. One I can certainly expand on. We've seen such a high demand for projects to get done in a shorter time frame.
Mm-hmm.
The whole compression of win the work, get the work
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
has just been
Crunch.
so
Just crunch.
crushed.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to build work, build buildings, build jobs. We're talking 24, 28 months. And now we're
Yeah.
down to, 20 or 18 or shoot, some of these are down to you get them done, 12 months after you win the work.
Mm-hmm.
And with that challenge, you
Mm-hmm.
have trade partners that are working right on top of each other, just
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yeah.
And that becomes very difficult, Tom, when you have, your world with people, right? You're a people guy.
Yes.
And when you have trade partners that are right on top of each other, I
Mm-hmm.
got to get my work done. I don't care about you. People tend to show their ugly side when
Mm-hmm.
they're compressed, right?
Yes. Well said.
And the superintendent, the foreman, like, hey, electrician, we got to have, and hey, drywaller, you got to have this done. And next thing you know, boxes are getting covered up, and plumbers, we got to, oh no, we misplaced this, and now we got to go, chip out some concrete because this was in the wrong place. And the concrete guys are like, what are you doing chipping out my beautiful concrete? And so it becomes really, really challenging for the
Mm-hmm.
superintendent. They've got to not only be smart about building a building and the technical experience and knowledge they need for codes and
Yeah.
what the architects have designed, but now they also have to be thinking about the human element, the
Mm-hmm.
people, the
Mm-hmm.
minds, the pressures that these young builder guys and gals are put
Mm-hmm.
under to get this project done. And then the safety guy comes in and says, hey, don't forget, you got to work safe as well. You got to stay off the top of those ladders. And my gosh, make sure you're locking the wheels on that scaffolding. You can't be pushing each other around on the scaffolding to get a job done quicker. You got to lock those wheels. Or, hey, Mr. Electrician, can you come and fix one of our extension cords that got cut? No, I got to get my job done, And so there's a lot of that happening with the
Mm-hmm.
superintendent trying
Yeah.
to manage the people.
Yeah. Yeah. How does all that compressed pressure, do you think, impact safety, Dave? Even though there's such a good focus on safety compared to 25 years ago when I was getting into the industry. There seems to be a lot more safety focus and safety attention, but I agree there's this compression of time. And how has that impacted safety from your point of view?
Well,
Besides
when
just the tension between the trades.
yeah. So, 1984, I'll go back then,
Hmm.
what were we doing safety wise? The military obviously doesn't follow the OSHA standards
Hmm.
per the letter of the law, but yet the companies that come to work for the Coast Guard have to follow OSHA. And,
Uh-huh.
OSHA was what, in 1970 they came around. So
Yeah, something.
1984, they're, young organization. People are still trying to figure out, what kind of navigation techniques do we need to get through this world
Hmm.
of OSHA and rules. And nobody comes to work wanting and expecting to get hurt or expecting to get killed while they're at work, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
A director long time ago said, nobody wants to come to work and expects to work to die to feed their family, or words to that effect, right? We
Yeah.
don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And so, back 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was more get the job done, listen to the superintendent, and we're going to throw safety in there, and we'll get the job done. And if
Hmm.
somebody gets hurt, we'll manage that. But
Yeah.
let's get the job done.
Yeah.
Today, and through the past, 30, 40 years, I've seen that shift a little bit, actually quite a bit, where the
Hmm.
superintendents they don't want to see somebody get hurt for real, and they do want to see the project get built. And they come to the safety professionals and they're asking, hey, we have to build and we're going to be on a leading edge. What kind of fall protection do we need,
Hmm.
as an example?
Hmm.
Or is there a barrier that we can put up to allow people to get close to the edge? And
Hmm.
those barriers, those devices have come a long way from just a
Yeah.
rope and a
Yeah.
belly, a belly belt, a belt around your belly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, them belly belts were just horrible. People were getting seriously injured and hanging there dying
Yeah.
from those. So fall protection has changed quite a bit as one example.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing protection, your hearing protection is gone up. You know, the technology that we have today versus sticking an old cigarette butt in your ear and hoping that would work has really come a long way. And, you know, a safety professional now can walk up to people and, you know, at my age, you know, I'm over 60. Unfortunately, I didn't wear hearing protection, but I can show them. I can show the effects of not having, you know, proper hearing protection when I was a young man, because
Yes.
now I wear hearing aids. And they're
Yes.
like, oh, I want to be that guy. Or silica. Silica is a big one, right?
Huge.
Back,
Huge.
you know, 30, 40 years ago, you know, we had a PEL, and today the PEL is, you know, 1/5 of what it was.
Yeah.
But you can show a guy, hey, do you want to be the guy carrying around this oxygen tank with these little hose going over your ear and these little ports stuck in your nose so you can breathe when you're 70 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't want to do that, right, guys? And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well now here's the way to do it with these engineering controls.
Mm-hmm.
It's come a long, long way, Tom. It
Mm-hmm.
really has.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you've seen so much. Wow, you really you understand the culture so well, Dave. And this show is about culture and balancing profitability and safety. When I say the word culture, it's such a huge word. What comes to mind for you in reference to safety, or how you generate healthy, strong safety culture? What do you think of? What is culture to you in reference to safety?
Well, you know, I go back to the beginning. The safety guy showed up. People, quote, worked safe. The safety guy left. Okay, let's get back to making the product done and get the product done.
Yeah.
Production first, guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Safety guy showed back up. Hey, why are you doing X?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had it just for a second, Dave. We're doing it just for a second.
Yeah.
And then safety guy leaves, and then they're doing it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Today, the culture has really developed into I think, into the fact that guys care about each other for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mm-hmm.
always going to have a few stragglers here and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guys, the gals that are on our projects really do care about each other. A lot of
Yeah.
them, they play sports together. They have family members that work in the
Yeah.
same company, sometimes even on the same project.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they've grown with the company. We have people here at Pinkard that have been on staff for well over 30 years.
Wow.
And they've seen quite a bit. But the culture that we as safety professionals, I think, have developed over time is trust. We've
Mm.
built a platform
Beautiful.
where
Yeah.
the workforce doesn't fear the safety guy or the safety professional
Mm-hmm.
on site.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I've had a superintendent tell me on more than one occasion and more than one superintendent, hey, I'd rather have you here helping us do it right than have an OSHA show up because there was a serious incident and now we're going to have to pay the piper kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the safety professional involved to begin with. Let's
Mm-hmm.
build that culture where safety starts right at the point of bidding jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It is put in the budget to begin with. You explain it to a developer, you explain it to a project owner. They certainly don't want to have a serious or
Mm-hmm.
death job associated with some beautiful building or
Mm-hmm.
project that they are building.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really shifted to the point where the culture is an ingrained part of production, quality, and safety. All three of those together,
Mm-hmm.
project, you know, in a shining light, if you will. And
Mm-hmm.
then we got to meet the schedule, and that's been the toughest part, is meeting that schedule sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guys that are funding the project, they want their ROI right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's been the toughest part.
Yeah.
But we keep talking about it. People are paying attention.
Sure. And I think you're right on, Dave, in general for many cultures, but not all. I just have to say, I still get out on job sites and I still work with companies who don't have a lot of trust or who don't have, I sometimes get called into the tough cases. And I love what you're saying. And I think in general, it's true. Owners, um, C-level people understand the value of building trust. They understand the value of building up a healthy work culture. They understand that if the guys get along, the job will get done better, probably faster and safer all together. But there's still some old school stuff out there, Dave. You know there is, and I know there is. And what do you say to the guy, maybe not at your company, but if you were with a subcontractor and like, that's safety bull crap, Dave. It's a bunch of bull crap. We got to get the job done. We got to, what would you say, or did you say to that voice of, you know, we can't waste all that time with safety, Dave. We got to just get the job done. What do you say to that perspective?
Well, I go back to my family first thought.
Hmm.
Family first. Listen, I'll use your name as an example. Tom, you're a grumpy old superintendent. You want to
Hmm.
get this project done. You've
Yeah.
got your computers out there using skill saws.
Yeah.
My friend Tom, these guys don't have guards on their skill saws, let's say, as an example.
Hmm.
He cut his fingers off. How's that going to affect his family life?
Hmm.
When he walks his daughter down the aisle and she's got to hold a stub of a hand during her wedding, the most beautiful day of her life, or at least one of them, and she's got to hold the stub of a hand because you were in such a hurry to get the job done, you didn't get the guard in place on your saw. What are you going to say to your daughter when you want to hold your grandchild and you can only squeeze him with the stub of a hand? What do you say to your grandchild? Tom, really? Is that how you want to raise your family? Uh, and I get a lot of guys that, they get tears in the eyes, Tom, when you
Wow.
bring it back to the family.
Wow.
We had an instance where an older gentleman fell off a ladder, broke both of his wrists.
Uh-huh.
When you ask that man, who's going to take care of him after he goes number two? That's family first, my friend. And that's a real story.
Oh yeah. Wow. You got so many real good stories, Dave. I love how you make it so personal, and I love the tears in the eyes thing. I think when you're genuine like you, Dave, when you have the values the way you do, it comes across strong, and you carry that message very well.
Well,
Uh,
thanks.
I wanna ask just maybe one or two more, but I want to ask you about a story of change or successful change. You and I both know that mental health is a big issue, and
Mm.
suicide's been a huge issue. And you were telling me some of the numbers. I think you said for every one construction death, there are six suicides. Is that number still accurate, Dave?
Yeah, the number
Wow.
fluctuates between
Wow.
five or six. Yeah. And
Unbelievable, which anyone who knows the that part of the business no isn't surprised. But if you've never heard that, you should be surprised, like, and disturbed, like this is. But you have a story, I think, you about mental health, Dave, that's pretty, I think, pretty awesome. You want to tell that one?
sure, I can expand on that a little bit. We had a gentleman that was working for us, a foreman for a trade partner. And he was doing real good work and things were going well, but that was at work. Back home, you had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
There was lots of these addictions that take place that nobody hears about at
Mm-hmm.
home.
Yeah.
And this guy didn't show up for work one day. Our foreman called me and said, Dave, have you heard from, I'm going to use your name again, Tom. Have you
Mm-hmm.
heard from, I said, no, I haven't heard from Tom. He's doing good last time I talked to him. Well, we haven't seen him at work. Trying to get a hold of him, trying to get a hold of him. Well, at one point, he called me. So, Tom, you called me, and then you hung up. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. You haven't done that before. So I tried to call you back and didn't answer. Tried to call you back, didn't answer. Tried to call you back. Finally, you answered. This man answered, and it's like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? We miss you at work. And not doing good. Not doing good. Like, what's up? What are you doing? So we live The job's up in Denver, right where we work. He way down south in a smaller town near Colorado Springs area. It's a long drive. And I'm like, well, you okay? And he's like, nah. Hey, how can I get some more booze? Like, whoa, what's going on? It ain't worth it anymore. Like, wait a minute. So I was at the job in the trailer. I get in my truck, get on my speakerphone in the truck, and I start heading south. And we keep having a conversation. And as a safety guy, you're not supposed to drive and talk and on your phone and stuff. But I'm like, I'm making an exception here for this gentleman who I'm thinking is in a rough way. So I keep talking to him. I ask him for his address. What do you need my address for? Well, you said you'd need some more booze. So we go through this conversation. He's telling me stories about how life isn't worth it, and he's done some real bad things in the past, and his girlfriend left him, and he just wants to end it all. Like, oh, my friend, no, you're worth it. You're really worth it. No, I'm not worth it. So we have this conversation for an hour and a half about what do you like to do? What brings you joy? How do you get away on the weekends to do things that aren't work related? And he loved going hiking and bicycle riding and up in the mountains, and he liked going shooting, just plinking around and stuff. And so we're having this conversation. He's like, why do you care? I'm like, because you're a human being. I care about you, man. We need you. You're a good person. We need, I'm a terrible person. I've done some terrible things. No, you're not a terrible guy. So we just keep going through that conversation. I get his address, I plug it in my phone, and I get to his house, and it's an apartment complex. And I says, hey, what's the address or the code to get in here? I want to come and say hi. And he actually gave it to me, which I was surprised.
Wow.
You really came. You really came. You really came down here to see me?
Wow.
Why did you do that?
Wow.
Well, it's because we care. And so we had this conversation. I talked to my son once I got there, who is a recovering alcoholic. And I said, my son's name is Ethan. I said, Ethan, he wants a drink, some food. I said, Ethan's like, Dad, get him a drink and get him a bottle. You'll stay there with him. And this one time's not going to do much at all. Go get it to him so you can at least sit there with him for some more time. So I did, and I got him some pizza, and boy, did he scarf down that pizza. Oh my gosh. When I showed up at his house, there was probably 12 bottles of that, what is that whiskey that everybody drinks that, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of it.
Jameson.
No, it's the hot, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it. Everybody drinks it. You could buy it right at the counter. Oh, shoot, I don't drink that much alcohol, but anyways, it was just little bottles. There had to be 12 or so of those around the and so before I went and got him some, I took them all and I dumped them all into one. And I said, here's a shot for you. I'll go get you a bottle, right?
Yeah.
So I got him the bottle and some pizza, and I stayed down there. I was with that man for like 5-6 hours.
Wow.
And then I followed up that was on a Thursday or Friday maybe. And I followed up on Saturday, and he was like, I can't believe you came all the way down here, Dave. Like, what? Hope you're doing well. Oh, I'm doing much better. I'm doing better. I just got to figure this out. So unfortunately, he did get terminated from the company he works for. And so I don't have a personal phone number for the man, but I hope he's doing well. I don't know.
Well, that was an act of love, Dave, and generous of you to do that. Kept him alive another few weeks, or maybe he's still around. Hopefully he's still living and kicking. But you made a culture change at a company with something involving porta potties, because I know part of your job is to influence others and to create positive culture change. Do you want to quickly tell that story?
Yeah. So one of the things that we have here at our company is we have, obviously every job has porta potties, but we have a culture of care committee within our organization here at Pinkard Construction Company. And so on that culture of care committee, we have conversations about new ideas, neat things. And, people were talking about QR codes to get to places, within the safety world and documents. I said, well, how about a QR code to the national hotline for suicide prevention? So 988, we could
Mhm.
put a QR code in all of our porta potties
Mhm.
because what's more private than a porta potty, right? I
Mhm.
mean, certainly
Mhm.
it's not soundproof, but it certainly is private.
Mhm.
And so we generated these QR codes, put them on stickers, and put them in our porta potties. One is in English, "You Matter," with the phone number, the QR code,
Mhm.
and the other one is English,
Mhm.
and or the other one is Spanish. I'm
Spanish.
sorry, the other one
Yeah.
is Spanish, and they both go to the national hotline for suicide prevention. So I've had
988. Mhm.
people call me and say, "Hey, Mr. Ruddy, you're the one putting those QR codes up, right?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He says, "Keep doing it." I used it and it changed my life. I really encourage you to keep putting those up. I know you see a lot of graffiti on them, Mr. Ruddy, and people, say dumb things on the sides of those QR codes, but I'm here to tell you, keep doing it because it does make a difference.
Wow. It's
Well, that
beautiful.
was right. That's pretty cool. If
That's
one
that's
guy's telling you it makes a difference, who knows how many other people
sure.
possibly could be, using the QR code when they're having a rough go.
But it's one more way of making that conversation more likely or possible that somebody will have a conversation or make a phone call that could very well save a life. I'm sure you already have done that, Dave, and that kind of work. Any final thoughts, Dave? I love all your stories. I love your authenticity. I love what you're doing with safety, the culture you're creating at Pinkard and many other companies where you've touched or worked. Any final thoughts you have for our?
Just remember, safety is about building a relationship. It's not about being a cop.
Mhm.
Don't be a cop when it comes to safety.
Mhm.
Be a relationship builder and talk about families and how the decisions, the choices that you're making will affect your family. Would you have your granddaughter or grandson or son or daughter work on this job using those tools, operating the way you see it happening right now?
Mhm.
Build a safety culture that includes family first, always.
I love it. I love it, Dave. How can people find you if they want to find you online or somewhere? Can they reach
Yeah,
out
I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn.
and Dave
Um,
Ruddy, Ruddy, Pinkard
yeah, Pinkard Construction.
Construction.
Yep.
Awesome,
Yep.
Dave. Thank you so much. And signing off from Minnesota and Colorado. Nice to
Very good, Tom.